Now, once you have completed this step, congratulations. Now let's take a look at the 3D version of this. So I'm just going to press F5, and this is our universal beam, and it's sitting right here looking good. Now, obviously, one universal beam is not enough. So let's say we're going to create a few more. And from here, I'm just going to switch this back to my plan view. Now, again, the engineers, structural engineers, will work out the distance, the spacing that you need for each and every universal beam for your building. But let's say we're going to be using 5 meters as a guideline. So if that's the case, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to multiply the universal beam. So step 1, click and select your universal beam. And then I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. And after this, I'm just going to press Control U for multiply. And the best option to use in here is the spread, because spread allows you to create spacing. By default, it may give you 1 meter to start with, but if it's 5 meters, just simply type 5,000 and that's it. And then after that, you hit OK. Now, if I were to multiply this from the center of the beam to another center of the beam, then your starting point must be from the center point of this beam here. And after that, all you have to do is to do your first click like that, and then make sure you hold shift when you're trying to multiply things straight. So I'm just going to hold down my shift key and then drag my cursor to the left. And as you can see, each time when my cursor reaches 5 meters, it's going to give me a universal beam. So let's say this is my last universal beam. All I have to do now is to do another click to complete this. Fantastic. Yes, we will need to readjust the length of this beam, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, what about this corner here? I think we should have another beam. So if that's the case, what you can do is this. Simply click and select on this beam here, and then I'm going to press Control Shift D is the shortcut command for drag or copy. Now, once this is now been activated, what I'm going to do now is to find myself a reference point. I know from the center to the center is now perfectly set to 5 meters. So I'm just going to make sure I place my cursor at this center point and then click. And then I'm just going to move my cursor and snap it to this center point here. So this way I know this is going to be perfectly straight, and it's going to give me this 5 meters clearance from center to center. Now, talking about readjusting the length of your universal beam, yes, you can simply click and select on the beam, and if you click on a node in the pad palette, you'll always find this interesting features and things that allows you to stretch or mirror or elevate or things like that. Yes, you can stretch this manually like this, or you can try this method. I'm going to now hold down the control key and simply click where I would like to trim. I think this is much quicker. Now, if you prefer to use the shortcut like holding down control key, another thing I like about this is you don't have to click and select anything. As you can see, I press escape and clear all the selection. And from here, all I have to do is to hold down the control, and then my cursor will give me a pair of scissors. Now, if you look carefully, once I place my cursor to the beam, see my scissors would turn into like a boulder scissors symbol. So that means it has detected something for you to trim. So all you have to do now is to click. That's it. Zoom in here, hold down my control key, and click to trim. So now everything's looking pretty nice and neat. Again, I'm going back to my section view just to double check everything is okay. Yes, it's looking great. Now, how about in the 3D view? Simply hit F5 just to take a look. How is everything looking? And it's looking good. So this is one way of creating your universal beam for your building. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to insert your C channels running horizontally and sitting on top of your universal beam.